Identifying New Testament is Fake lesson, Family Problems, for June 29, 2022. Welcome again to another lesson in the New Testament is Fake series on the Alak Emma channel, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon. This is not a regular lesson per se, just a little consideration of the stories that I heard from a child coming up in the Christian religion. And so I've kind of jumbled together the different funny stories that just make me think back now of how silly it was to have believed some of these things. But they got us with simple trickery. So I've titled this Family Problems. And it's dealing with family problems in heaven between God and his son, Jesus. And the idea came from that well-known story they told that there was a war in heaven and Lucifer got kicked out and so on. Anyway, it begins here. The Son of God did not always obey his Father. The Father told Israel that they must stay in captivity until he comes to gather them from all lands where they were scattered. And notice how they have switched that over now to Jesus being the one who's going to come, and so we're looking for him to come and rapture us away. You see the replacement theology carrying on? But anyway, the Father told Israel they must stay in captivity until he comes to gather them from all lands where they were scattered. The Son disregarded that, came down from heaven using his magical power, and manifested in flesh as a goat or more as a lamb. He spread revolutionary teachings that the Romans hated. He stirred up Pharisees, Sadducees, and some members of the public even tried to throw him over a cliff. The Son continued to sabotage his Father's plan to rescue Israel later from all their scattered locations, so as to make the Father's word not come true. Because if he rescues them first in his own way, by Calvary, leading to a rapture, then the Father's plan would fall to the ground. This would make his Father look incompetent or something like that. But what a story. First, there was a war in heaven. Father kicked out the choir leader in heaven with many other angels who were guilty of not hating but loving the choir leader who led the morning stars in singing. After the Father kicked out the number one angel out of heaven, he came down to terrorize the earth and changed his name to the devil. Then Holy Father again kicked out early man and his wife out of paradise from a garden because the devil was acting up and attacked and rocked the cradle of the two people Father was growing in Eden to let them become a whole nation. Father lost it and kicked them out as well because they were hungry. They ate an apple, or so we were taught as children. Father, being the first to take holy life, killed an animal to make clothes for them to live outside the naked place.
His Father's time capsule salvation plan.
Even later, the son JC continued disrespecting his Father's time capsule salvation plan that would get them later on at the end, which told Israel to wait until he returns for them later on at the end. So the Son, knowing what the Father did before, kicking out angels, master, choir, angel, kick out many others, get rid of those in Eden and so on, telling Adam and Eve, if you eat this, you're going to die, this apple. So the son, then knowing this, must have had a death wish. So the father killed him, and Romans buried him. Because we were told in Christianity as a child that nails could not have killed him. It must have been God who took his life. Some say the son, he later came back to life, and he rose in power and darted up to heaven in a powerful manner. So, if the son is mad, they might be having it out up there right now, brawling and all, because there is great upset and war and so on breaking out on the earth. So maybe there is something big going on in heaven, and maybe it is true to say, as in heaven, so on earth. The Lock Emmett Channel, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon.